Look, A Life of Poetry by Yukon de Leeuw. Published by Big River Publishing Brand 2020. Narrated and composed by Yukon de Leeuw. I'd like to dedicate this book to me, because I love me, fully, finally. Introduction. I'm somewhat obsessed with autobiographies. I love reading the life stories of great people in their own words, the mindsets and events that mystically steered them towards spectacular accomplishments. I'd often lie awake at night dreaming about my own autobiography and how it would read. What would I accomplish? What would the foreword say about how amazing I am? Then I got to my 25th circle around the sun and decided it's time to stop dreaming and time to start acting, literally and metaphorically. Another obsession of mine is the human experience, more specifically human behavior, psychology, and culture. But I didn't realize the full extent of it until I started studying acting. We are magnificent creatures, aren't we? Our relationships, ideas, nuanced personalities, and histories make each of us an object of endless investigation. The best part is that we can observe ourselves, the most fascinating of concepts. So upon my new drive to tell my life story and my newfound love for acting, I decided to start writing an autobiography, of sorts. The problem was I haven't lived long enough to justify an autobiography. I'm no Barack Obama. Even though I have had a plethora of experiences thus far, an unusual amount for someone of my age it seems, I'm still growing and my best years are still ahead of me. With that resolution, I came to the decision that I ought to wait to write a formal autobiography. Determined as I am to make something of myself, I started reflecting about my passion for music, lyrics, and ultimately words. I started opening up my old notebooks filled with poems, songs, and journal entries. A lot of the material in this collection comes from ideas I had written down or held in my immediate consciousness since childhood. This will be apparent in the first two parts. It's been a therapeutic process getting my ideas out on paper, something I continue to practice in my brightest and darkest moments. To solve the problem of being a young adult attempting to write a full life story, I would organize my poems in categories depicting each stage of life from birth to death. Through my training as an actor, I discovered that I had a knack for putting myself in someone else's shoes, or even their mind/consciousness. I've been blessed with a close family which has members occupying every stage of life. Through them, and through observations of my own experience, I was able to write a full life story. I'm sure if I wrote this book a decade earlier or later, it would be entirely different. But alas, the idea struck me in this moment, and so I must follow the feeling and write. So there you have it. Somewhere between a life story and a self-help book of free verse poetry, I've finally done it. I wrote my autobiography, or at least an abstract version of one. I hope you find this collection relatable in all its glory and dis-ease. Part 1. The Child. Times are simple as a child, but full of questions. Children are philosophers in their own right. Is doing the wrong thing for the right reason right? Free will/intentions. Without barriers, expressions run wild. A timeless ideal, rarely retained. Life's a dream. Try for a moment to look at the world through the eyes of a child. Really try. See everything for the first time. The faces with holes that hold eyes, that make soothing or sore sounds. The gentle warm giants that cradle you. The up that's light then dark. The down that's cold then hot. The in that's full then empty. The out that's there then not. What you'll see is life as a dream, full of unseen powers and laws of physics. Pleasure and pain is all that exists. Has anything really changed? Pain. Pain is an indicator that something has to change. It's up to me to make it. For example, relieve my bowels. Feels good, doesn't it? What's the meaning of life? What a silly question. To be alive, of course. But what is being alive? Energy. Energy is energy. The universe doesn't discriminate. My love could be your hate, but the universe doesn't discriminate. Mom. I saw my mom yesterday for the first time as a person separate from myself. She doesn't belong to me, nor I to her. Her head is full of thoughts outside of my existence. All day she is thinking, what could she be thinking? It can't all be about me. She's got her own things. How strange. Suddenly her face changed, right before my eyes. She caught me staring. She asked, "What?" I said, "Oh, nothing." Dad's purple soup. Give me a bowl of Dad's famous purple soup. It doesn't look very good and it smells off too. But it's good for your bones and your heart and your soul. So pull out a ladle and dish me up a bowl. Sits well in my tummy. And after a few spoonfuls, it's kind of yummy. Now I'm ready to run and play. I can't wait to have Dad's purple soup another day. A children's song. How would a horse play piano? It's got big goofy hooves. How would a bear play guitar? It's got big sharp claws. How would an elephant play the flute? It's got a nose like a tube. Wait a minute, how would a human do that too? Ba-dum bum bum bum. The babbling boobily bop. The babbling boobily bop likes to talk a lot. It makes a bunch of noise. What it says, I know not. The babbling boobily bop spins like a top. It crashes through life without a single thought. The babbling boobily bop screams like a pot, makes a big fuss, complains and gets taught. Don't be a babbling boobily bop. Stand for something more than not. Take responsibility. Be a man. No pressure. I will be strong. I will have big muscles. I will be successful and own lots of things. I have a big family, all in a big house. It has a big pool, big toys and tools. I'm the last of my name. No pressure, they say, but I should pass it on to another male one day. Here's a thesis statement on innocence. To what extent do the external pressures placed upon an individual to transition into adulthood destroy that which is most sacred in them? Or is it the pressure itself natural and all the minute deaths purposeful? After all, the conceiving of and utilization of these pressures evolved from the same deep space that birthed our race in the first place, as is the opposition, the resistance to these pressures. In conclusion, conflict is natural. Parents. Imagining myself a force, spearing through space. I require resistance, or else I'll aimlessly pace. Here's an exercise. Put your two middle fingers together tip to tip, palms facing down. Now let your hands go limp. Now do it again, put your two middle fingers together, but this time apply strong, consistent pressure between the two fingertips. Maintain the pressure and let your hands go limp. The fingers stay afloat. This simple exercise demonstrates how a force requires a resistant force in the opposite direction to stay upright, such as the wing of an airplane requires air resistance to fly. A metaphor, if you will. Night terror. I have bad dreams. I run to my parents' bed. One day I need to stop. That's what they said. I need to grow up, sleep alone in my head. Will these nightmares go away, or do we just get used to them? People. People are goofy, people are silly. People are ugly, people are pretty. People make movies, people make tunes. People make buildings, people make tombs. People are smart, people are dumb. People drink coffee, people drink rum. People like people, and some people don't. I know those people, and I don't like them. People are good, people are bad. People are happy, people are sad. People are humans, people are dogs. People are dolphins, people are hogs. The world has people, the world is in space. Space has aliens. We're an alien race. Blowing bubbles in milk. All the bubbles need to work together if they want to reach the sky. If one alone by itself tries, it gets too big, pops, and dies. A battery. I always follow my heart, my gut, because that's our connector to God. Often the mind will get us stuck when it thinks it knows better than God. Lol. Older. I wish I was older. Big kids are so cool. They can do what they want and don't have any rules. But parents are too old. They don't have any fun. All they do is work and wish they were young. Is anybody happy? Part 2. The Adolescent. Slides used to be fun. Not this one. What's happening to me? It's like I'm being squeezed. Claustrophobia. Love and sex. Sex and love. It hurts so good. I want it so bad. I must navigate thus. Social hierarchy. I need to fit in. I need to stand out to fit in. Which is it? I must navigate thus. A prepared speech. Hey, I just wanted to say a few things, so there's no confusion. I'm afraid. You may have noticed me acting strange, maybe caught me staring. I hope that I haven't offended you. It's just, I think you're crazy beautiful. It's not because you're pretty. It's not because you're pretty, it's because you're a good person, and good people are attractive, thus being why you're pretty. It's not just because you're pretty, it's because you're smart, and smart people are attractive, thus being why you're pretty. It's not just because you're pretty, it's because you're strong, and strong people are attractive, thus being why you're pretty. It's not just because you're pretty, it's because you're wise, and wise people have a twinkle in their eye, thus being why you're pretty. It's not just because you're pretty. You go deeper than the surface, is what I've been trying to say. But dang it, you are pretty. Please, for the love of God, don't say maybe. Fame. I lied about losing my virginity twice. I really wasn't fooling anyone. Trust. I was searching for just a hint of fame, but all I found was shame. Outdoor cat. I'm an outdoor cat, wandering the block. People want to chat. What are they talking about? Don't look at my face. I'm not the Mona Lisa. I lick my own fur and eat my own feces. People want to poke me. I am not an app. People want to pet me. I am not all that. Sure, I'm a little different, but then again, who isn't? I sleep alone most every night because I need to. I'm an outdoor cat, wandering the block. People want to chat. What are they talking about? Animal. Having bits between your legs can be so awfully annoying. Some days all I do is eat and I still can't quench my appetite. It's the animal in me that I can't control. It's the nature in me that takes its toll. It's a fine line between right and wrong. I'm an animal after all. There's got to be a better way. This inner drive to procreate is killing me. It's killing me. How ironic. Imagination is far more extravagant than reality could ever be. But reality is better because it actually happens. And when it does happen, it's magic. Just like imagination. A soliloquy. An obsession. It's become my water. Water at the bottom of a well. My face reflected at the bottom of the pool. A cherry blossom floats down, its soft pink skin blushing at me, inviting me in. The urge to dive in hits. It would be my death. But how do I know I'm not already dead? How do we know we're not already dead? Bone on bone. Living together is tricky, so is living alone. Proof that we need balance can't be bone on bone. Cartilage between us to make the joints run smooth. This way we'll be frictionless doing what we do. I'll make some mistakes, about to be unleveled, but I believe in evolution. I don't believe in heaven. So feed my lilies when I'm gone and clean up before I'm home. I will do the same for you because we can't be bone on bone. Living together is tricky, so is living alone. Proof that we need balance can't be bone on bone. Dream journal. Your name comes up an awful lot in my journal. I'm trying to work through these things, but these things, these feelings, they seem to be winning. The moon. I was looking at the moon. Thought you might be looking at it too. But maybe it meant something different to me than it did to you. The hurricane. A hurricane came over me and pushed me to my knees. It felt so heavy I couldn't breathe. I let go. I cried. I felt the weight dissipate. I was light as fire. I felt the heat leave my body. I was so tired. I couldn't stand. I cried some more. I was already transcending. My body couldn't hold that of me which wasn't physical. I'm in the atmosphere. I cried some more. Thankful for this pain I felt, which learned me this lesson. I am more than my name. I am a hurricane. Video games are so real. Maybe they are real, and maybe we're God, with all this control. I think I need to let it be. There's two sides to every story. I'll meet you in the middle. We'll get there when we get there. Shopping list. Kind, considerate, thoughtful, active, sense of humor, cares about me, adventurous, brave, good taste, strong communicator, ambitious, knows herself, charismatic, positive, not codependent, not independent. Ariana Grande. Indecisive. I'm so smart, I'm confused, hot and indecisive. I'm so simple, I'm certain, full of conviction. I can be deep, shallow, whole, hollow. I can be what I want to be, or I could be me for you. All I really want is freedom, but too much and I'm gone for good. If you chose me, I would be a lucky guy. But it seems that you're afraid. Either that or you can't decide. I guess I'll have to keep moving. Endless. Distractions seem justified. I have an imposter syndrome. Something new becomes ordinary. there will always be a horizon. Not all those who wander are lost, but I am, and that's okay. I know there's someone out there who's just as lost as me. If we can find each other, maybe we can find ourselves, or vice versa. Highs. I'm so high right now. I don't want to come down. But you know what they say about going up and coming down. It makes me think of a frequency. Like when you're happy, so happy, you laugh, you cry. Salt water comes out of your eyes. And when you're sad, so sad, you cry, you laugh. Salt water comes out like that. I was so happy when you called out my name. So you can imagine how I felt when you left me in the rain. Me. I'm doing me to the extreme, so that when we meet, she knows what she's getting herself into. It only takes one. It's a grind, but in the end it only takes one. One life, one time, one girl. It's out of my hands. I couldn't possibly hope to control that. So realistically, I should be able to relax. I had a dream last night that we helped each other achieve our wildest dreams, and then we went on vacation. Looking back, we had a good thing. I can't believe it happened for me. But somewhere we veered, and when the clouds cleared, a fork in the road was revealed. I looked back at what we were, fondly. Looks like you found someone. Good for you. You look really cute together. I'm fine. I'm Ross from Friends. After all that, there's something I haven't asked. How are you doing? Are you getting all the sympathy you need? I'm not. Part 3. The Soldier. How can I slow down? I've got all these ways to grow, leaving a trail of blood. It's mostly my own. Masochist. It takes someone different to be a musician. I thought I was different, but as it turns out, I'm the same as everyone else. Stolen dreams. Sensitive boy. Sensitive boy, I sense everything. Sensitive boy, can't get a thing past me. Sensitive boy, I cry at the movies. Sensitive boy, girls think I'm a cutie. Sensitive boy, I'm right in front of you. Sensitive boy, I'm in the mirror too. Sensitive boy, I sense everything. Sensitive boy, can't get a thing past me. All the things they thought I wouldn't, I can, I could, and I should. I'm the youngest person to ever be me, so I might as well start right now. Chip, chip, chipping away at an ice block day by day. Finally a figure protrudes, a brave being bearing nude. Then the ice melts away, the water flows back into the bay. Now what will you do? Do it again. I am a human. I will not be measured by the number of people I have slept with. My marital status does not define me. I will not be measured by the money in my bank account, nor by the formal education I have completed, and definitely not by the number of followers on my social media accounts. I will not be measured by my appearances, not my height, not my weight, not my complexion, and not the sound of my voice. I will not be measured by my age, because I have overcome a lot. Statistics will never measure me. It's more a feeling. But a new generation is coming. We feel differently, and so it will be different. Be patient with us. The world will soon be ours. You know what the problem with your generation is? You're entitled. You feel entitled to an enjoyable life, but joy is a privilege, not a right. The only thing you are entitled to is a life full of experiences, nothing more. Birth of the internet. Bad news again online. It kills me every time. I have too much empathy. It aches my insides. Show me something good. Actor on TV. Smokes a lot of cigarettes. Still has perfect teeth. Pretty people. Pretty people on the tube, doing simple things, keeping us from ourselves so we don't have to think. Money. Unquestioning loyalty to the almighty dollar. If it pays, I'll play. I have no standards. Marketing agencies. Designed to target my weaknesses, to hit the core of my doubts, telling me I'm not enough, perpetuating the idea. But I see you. I see your intentions. I see you, so I win. Fear. Stress is a disease brought upon by fear, devastating to the body and psyche. Fear is the best way to control, to exert power if one lusts for more. I can't seem to grow up. I'm afraid I'm going to die young. It's like there's a bear on my back. I can't trust anyone. Depression joke. You're not sick, you're lazy. Go upstairs, get some food in your belly. Go outside, feel the wind, feel alive, don't let them win. When bad things happen, I like to think that it's saving my life from something worse in the future. Brother. You're like a brother to me, even though you're not my real brother. I still love you like you are. We're not the ones to say I love you, but if we were, know what I'd say? I love you. Thanks for being there. Shopping list, part 2. Meat, tea, soup. How to be cool. This is a subjective world we live in. It's cool not to care what others think of you. Ironic, isn't it? As we near the end, we have seen a new side of ourselves. We have solved the problems that once burned our souls. But, like a circle, the end is also the beginning. It's an early autumn this year. I don't mind. I've had enough summer, it's time to fly. I'd rather be a bird in the sky than in a cage. This sense of security feels stale to me. The certainty of survival bores me. I'd rather live on the edge than in a cage. Pressure, Volume 2. I can feel the pressure angling my features, the weight of experience smoothing my skin, sharpening my mind. I do this all the time. Empirical wisdom cannot be bought. It must be earned through attempts of grandeur that often end with a spur in the side. I do this all the time. Oh, it feels good, ink gliding on paper, leaving my mark, leaving my skin. To be a legend, one must face demons, demons and monsters, the evil within. One needs a break, one being me. Today's an important day. I don't know why, just feels that way. Part 4, The Senator. I'm still a child. I cannot fix the world, but I can fix myself, which is a world in itself. First step, be free. As it turns out, the meaning of life is being in service to others. I am grateful for the fact that I've been able to stay grateful for being alive. Decisions are gifts, and not all are blessed with the wherewithal. Decisions require responsibility. Responsibility terrified me. Rock and roll is dead. Rock and roll is dead. They're speaking a different language these days. It's just me and I and my and mine and you. Whatever happened to us? Laws. Some of them make sense, some are means to an end, and some are just incorrect. History suggests they can be used to oppress. It's a game played by the proprietors. Patriarchy. An innate desire to build a benevolent empire. Are you with me or not? Matriarchy. This queen of mine, my partner in crime, we left the games behind. Now the only game we play is, how do we best serve this community? All it took was some time apart for me to realize how special you are. This system favors the greedy, but the universe does not. Capitalism is not the problem. A problem solved is a problem lost. Greed is the problem. Failure. We don't grow if we don't struggle. We boast success and hide defects. We could never win if we've never lost. Failing is the best progress. I want to tell you about my failures. My failure at love, how I became infatuated and drove her away. My failure as a son, how I tried to impress but couldn't obey. My failure as a writer, how I wrote a story that now collects dust. My failure as a musician, how I wrote a song that I can't stand the sound of. My failure as an actor, how I studied technique but got caught up in industry. My failure at peace, how hard I fought, but in the end I lost. It takes all kinds. Who sets the stage? The master of ceremony. Who sets the table? The youngest child. What does the farmer eat? The fruits of his labor. What does the tailor wear? The threads of his labor. When does the teacher learn? When the student learns. When is the artist inspired? When the canvas is blank. Where does the carpenter live? Wherever he pleases. Where does the photographer look? At moments in time. Why does the preacher preach? To inspire. Why does the chorus sing? To inspire and to sing. Share the weight. Patience. Happily waiting, waiting happily. We have no choice until we do. It is our greatest strength until it's cowardice. A modern person. A modern person does not let anyone tell them who they are. A modern person adheres to their own values but considers others. A modern person fights for what they believe in, but is open to new information. A modern person is versatile, fluid with the changing times. A modern person is honorable when speaking their mind. A modern person accepts their mistakes and learns from them. A modern person acknowledges their shortcomings, recognizes where they stem from, and works towards a peaceful mind. A modern person sees and respects the tribulations of life. A modern person sees the strength in showing vulnerability. A modern person does not adhere to the norms of stereotypes, but understands their truths. A modern person is not driven by selfish intentions. A modern person knows that they must take care of themselves before they can take care of others. A modern person knows that what they don't know is far more important than what they do know. A modern person is as old as time. A modern person will forever be redefined. Meditate. Pray, believe, religion, third eye, fifth element, fourth dimension, sixth sense, science. I'm attempting to understand that one thing that can't be understood, only felt. It's just too big, it goes too deep. Where we fit in will never be fully revealed. We were meant to float in this abyss. Paradox. It's a paradox. What separates us also brings us together. Like war, peace, life, and death, everything is divine, divine in balance. Don't stress about a single thing. Garbage wrap. There's a whole lot of garbage around my place. It's always been that way. It blows around, it rots, it packs. It's food for the birds and rats. It flies and swims, it does everything. Born in a blink, lasting for infinity. Whoa. Matter. Everything breaks down. Shoes, mountains, bodies. It's the nature of matter. I won't feel bad. It's just a matter of nature. This next poem is based on some advice I heard. There's a difference between getting old and growing old. The latter trades youth for wisdom. The former can't let go, gets none. Don't fight it. Ideas are infinity. These are borrowed ideas. They're everlasting. They're infinity. Infinity is as big small as it is big. As big small as it is big. It goes inwards as much as it does outwards. Peace. It is my firm belief that if you look hard enough, you can understand and relate to every life. One knowledge. The desire for knowledge, for the purpose of power, absent of love, dies in vain. To wonder and marvel, to beckon change, is to be born again when you die. A fun fact. As bipedal Homo sapiens, we are the least efficient animals on Earth. But with the invention of the bicycle, we become the most efficient. Innovation is how we've survived, and it's how we will continue to do so. Part 5. The Philosopher. Returning to dirt, a circle comes back around. We must tell this story to bury in the ground. Teaching is a learning process. Physical things don't concern me much, unless it has to do with beauty and grace. Love. One did not give you the feeling, they awakened it within you. Yes, it was within you all along. These days people talk about beauty, but whatever happened to grace? Grace is everything. The goldfinch brings joy. This life was meant for you, son. The chickadee can lower its body temperature by chirping. The chickadee can lower its body temperature by chirping. The chickadee can lower its body temperature by chirping. I don't know what it means yet, but I will soon. I look at a crow and wish I could play. Crow looks at eagle and wishes for the same. Eagle looks at flying how we look at driving. Utility, mostly. Fulfillment is a daily practice. One single event won't fulfill me eternally. It'll take consistent effort. A wasted song. I've wasted my money, I've wasted my time, I've wasted my savings, I've wasted my rights. I've wasted my dollars, I've wasted my life, chasing another man's life. Each day I grow older and wise. If God has a plan, I'll know I'll be fine. I've run over mountains and riverbeds dry to find out it's the same on the other side. I've wasted my money, I've wasted my time. I've wasted my savings, I've wasted my rights. I've wasted my dollars, I've wasted my life, chasing another man's life. One day I'll catch him, I know that I will, that pretty boy Leo, and throw him in jail. I've jumped over ponds, I've jumped over seas. If it's all for nothing, that's fine with me. I've wasted my money, I've wasted my time. I've wasted my savings, I've wasted my rights. I've wasted my dollars, I've wasted my life, chasing another man's life. The science of forgiveness. The science of forgiveness has to be proven yet, but I'd put money on all of its benefits. Forgive myself, why is it so hard? Every detail can be picked apart. When I was young, building habits, unconsciously I was shaped an addict. I'll start from scratch at any age, forgive myself day after day. Life is suffering, the Buddhists say. The cost of living, the price we pay. No matter the life you can't escape, unless maybe you meditate? Aspen Grove. Aspens need direct sunlight. They cannot grow at night. It would take a storm of some kind to clear the shadows cast by pines. A strike of lightning sparks a fire. A forest burns to the ground. Now what is ash will soon be grown into an aspen grove. Life needs death. The healer. I saw them through the thicket, a subtle form wearing fur. They came in my direction, and I knew right then and there that I would be okay. They gave me food and juice to drink, although I don't have the sweetest tooth. It was like a dream before it hits. I didn't have the slightest clue that this change in me would be so that I could heal another, because in that moment I couldn't be bothered. The healer knelt down and lowered their tone. It was smooth as a baby's cheek. They told me to mind my health, because you can't heal another until you heal yourself. I looked into their eyes, got lost in space. A question rolled out of my face. I asked the healer, "Why me? Why now? You could have been any other place." They spoke not a word, just stood there a blur, and faded back into their fur. I almost died that night, out there in the woods, starved and burned, froze and shook. But I made it out. It was me they helped. I'll never forget how it felt. I hope one day I can return the favor, be there for someone else. The masculine and feminine are eternally different. One is fire, the other water. One is not better than the other. They were born on different planes. They cannot be compared. They cannot be the same. Yet life exists between their eternal dance. Like water. You will find the path of least resistance, but there will be resistance. It will be bountiful. For in the case of no resistance, you would be still, like a puddle in a ditch, growing old and stinky. A river, however, is fresh and filtered. Resistance from earth keeps it clean. So you must keep moving through the resistance. It's not breaking you, it's cleansing you. And fire. Water doesn't care where it's going, where it's been. It never hurries, never worries. It's always where it needs to be. A river never stops, but water evaporates. A fire burns out, the heat dissipates. The fire flames flicker, just like the water splashes. It trickles and splinters, but they can't coexist. Yet the intersect of both gave birth to me. Not created nor destroyed, I live in between. There's something deeply magical, religious, about the two opposing energies that gave birth to life on Earth. There's philosophical truths built into their natures. If I may be so bold to give some advice, it would be, don't undermine another's struggle. Let me explain. Imagine the second dimension, such as where you take a picture. Time doesn't exist in the second dimension. Therefore, the objects occupying this dimension are stuck in space, unable to move. We are occupying the second dimension at every individual moment that makes up time. However, these moments are infinitely minute. All these moments put together become the third dimension. In the third dimension, time does exist and allows us to travel through space at will. Traveling through space takes time. In the fourth dimension, time can be traveled through, much like how space is in the third dimension. Seeing as we exist in the second and third dimension, part of us could exist in the fourth as well. Let's assume this to be true for argument's sake. If part of our soul, psyche, energy, for lack of a better term, occupies the fourth dimension, and so does everyone else's, and since time is a malleable entity in the fourth dimension, that means our soul, psyche, energy has lived in everyone and everything at one point or another. Rather, it is living in everyone and everything, even right now as we speak. We are everything that has ever existed, right now and forever. Maybe through that door is where we go when we die. The mountain. All to be remembered, all to be forgot. I found myself in a valley dark. The alpine peaks were glowing, the sun was setting, showing me that everything is temporary. The climb was rough and rumble, the summit is humble. Up here I can see it clear, why I had to struggle. All to be remembered, all to be forgot. I found myself where I got lost. The alpine peaks were glowing, the sun was setting, showing me that everything is temporary. Now I'm looking down, back to where I was. I'm going just there. I know what needs to be done. All to be remembered, all to be forgot. I found myself just where I was. The alpine peaks were glowing, the sun setting, showing me it's all temporary. Personality. The drive to be alive and free, each experience fused together. Every little thing that has ever happened and is still happening in one. That's me. Knowing we will never know is knowing. We are a process. We are change. We never find us. We create us instead. We haven't happened. We happen yet. And knowing we'll never know is knowing best. All we have is this exact moment. And now it's gone. And now this one. And now that's gone too. And now this one. And this one. Here comes another. Oops, you missed it. Better luck next time. Listen here. If you were ready for there, you would already be there. But you're not there, you're here. So be here. And then maybe you'll be ready. As it turns out, the meaning of life is to ripple through time, to pulse, to vibrate, so that beauty and God and the great ether might exist, so that we might catch a glimpse of that beauty that we belong to and that also belongs to us. Having a drink looking out the window. Having a drink looking out the window. Thinking back to when my life belonged to someone else. I'm so grateful. Leaving. We might have to leave home. We might have to fly away. But our energy is everlasting. It won't ever fade. Grandpa. But then again, what is real? What's the difference between reality and dreams and memories? It's getting harder to decipher. Which is which? I'm all of the above. I can fly. I'm in love again. Until next time, goodbye, friend. A lot of people died to make this happen. A lot of pictures were taken on that phone. And now it's in the water. Oh no. Thank God for the clouds. The ever-elusive sleep. When will it come? My entire life I've been waiting to be taken under, just to wake and do it again tomorrow, and tomorrow, and tomorrow. One thing I've learned as I've gotten older is that you never really get old. Time just slows down or speeds up until you become one, and then you become one. Thanks for spending some time with me. Signed, Yukon de Leeuw.